Hi, and welcome to the podcast, The Road to Restoration. I'm Pastor Sergio de Mora, and I cannot be more overjoyed to know that you're joining us today. Whether you're joining us through your headset, through YouTube, Spotify, iPhone, or through the website, thanks for joining us. I trust that if you've heard the first two episodes with Pastor Ben Prescott, you know we are in the midst of learning how to walk the journey and the process of restoration out. And today we're talking about steps. Pastor Ben, thank you for joining us.
Of course, man. I'm grateful.
Your transparency is not only inspiring, but it really is, I believe, helping us understand that this process of pain is real and that it is actually possible to walk through it.
Yeah.
Because you've been through this process and through this journey, and it's been real. And so today, I want to continue to talk about steps, because you said that the steps of a righteous man are ordered of the Lord. And you, in our previous episode, talked about one of the first steps is to get wise counsel around you. That's what Proverbs teach us.
Yeah.
That there's safety in the multitude of counselors.
Yeah.
2 Corinthians chapter 12, you referred to the verse when Paul said, when I am weak, then he is strong.
Yeah.
Therefore, I glory or boast about my weaknesses.
Yeah.
I boast about the moments, and I'm paraphrasing, in my life that seem like an utter disaster. So someone's listening right now. They're going through pain, whether it's financial pain, marital pain, pain of a divorce, the pain of a death, the pain of unexpected failure.
Yeah.
At any level of pain, we know that pain carries a message. Pain never comes into our life casually nor unannounced. It always comes to say something. In your process of pain, of what you went through in your marriage, the process with your children, now leading the church again, what would you just say what pain has said to you in this process?
You know, the importance of when you're walking through trial and challenge, of recognizing how vulnerable, susceptible you are to what you hear, and I think pain, dependent on what you're listening to, whether it's motivated by a hope and a faith and an expectation, or whether it's motivated by just doubt and anxiety and fear. I think pain can say two different things. I think sometimes your pain can say, this is it. Sometimes your pain, or I had there's moments, I still do, where the pain of what you're going through will say, the enemy will use your pain to say, you can't do this. This is too much. This will affect you your whole life. You're never going to get free. You're never going to. But then also, depending on what you're listening to, God will speak through pain. And as well,
Can you hold it? Say that again.
God will speak through pain. Peter was in the middle of a storm, yet still heard the voice of Jesus across the water. When you hear people talk about sound travel and the ability for sound to travel, sound can bounce off water and can travel further distance. You think about the fact that Jesus out on the water, Jesus speaks, the sound of Jesus' voice bounced across the storm, bounced across the water, bounced across the very thing that in the natural was going to kill Peter. You can't walk on water. And Jesus speaks a word in the middle of a storm, and the storm carries the word to Peter. Sometimes in the middle of our pain, if we tune in, you can hear his voice better than you would if there was no storm.
I heard this quote, And it is, God whispers in our success, but shouts in our pain.
Yeah.
C.S. Lewis said that.
Yeah.
He whispers to us in our
Yeah.
pleasures and in our success,
Yeah.
but he will shout
Yeah.
or raise his volume
Yeah.
in our pain.
Yeah.
Someone who's going through pain right now needs to know, where does this end up?
Mm-hmm.
And I think going through pain, you don't have to go through much pain to understand that one of the hardest things about going through pain is not that you're going through it. It's what is next? What am I?
Yeah.
What is the process here?
Yeah.
Because when you can understand the process or these steps, it actually helps you realize, okay, I'm here, but I'm not always going to be here. You talked about steps that helped you make it through. Sometimes you said in the previous episode that, can I just get through the morning?
Yeah.
If I could just get through the afternoon, if I could just get through the evening, I'll be great.
Yeah.
Because the power of living one day at a time
Yeah.
gives you the hope that all I have to focus on is today.
Yeah.
I'm not in control of tomorrow. And our mind oftentimes tries to dictate to us an outcome, creates an algorithm. An algorithm is created out of what we hear and out of what people say and out of what we say, out of what we see with our eyes. And it gathers all that information and it spits out an outcome. And sometimes we can believe that outcome.
Yeah.
Were there nights or days or mornings where your mind was speaking, preaching an outcome to you that you thought at some points was unbearable?
Yeah. Yeah. I think a big key, to walking out the steps, I think one is, a big key is learn to celebrate the little wins. Because it's, if you're breaking down a day to 4 steps, let's say, celebrate step 1. You got to, and it feels silly, it feels stupid, but there were days, bro, where I had to just celebrate the fact that I made it to noon.
Wow.
Give yourself credit for walking the step. And because what that does is the verse in 2 Samuel where it says David encouraged himself.
Yes. 1 Samuel 30, Ziklag.
Yeah. Encouraged himself when it all had fallen apart, when the Amalekites had taken everything, had nothing left. He was done. But then he encouraged himself. And sometimes if it's like, sometimes you got to just encourage yourself that, you know what, I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still of sound mind. I'm still upright. Break it down. Find just one little thing that you can encourage yourself in. I smiled today.
Yeah.
I walked outside today. I enjoyed the sunshine for a moment. I got to read that Bible verse. I prayed today. I asked the Lord for help today.
And God will speak to you in those little things.
Those little things. You take the little things. Faithful with the little. Faithful with the little.
Did you feel like God was like taking you, feeding you like he did with Elijah with raven's food? Like every day he gave you one nugget. Like it could have been something you heard on the radio, something that you saw on TV.
Just small little things.
Was that happening?
Yeah, and there were times where I felt like, I would get incredibly discouraged because I felt like I should be doing so much better. I felt like, people were amazing that encourage and say, man, you're doing so great. Why did you feel you should
be better? Is it
because the pressure we
pastor,
put,
leader?
The pressure we put on ourselves.
Okay.
I felt like I should be getting these huge revelations. I felt like I should be digging into my word like crazy. I felt like, and there were times absolutely when I did, but there were times, bro, where I didn't. There were times when it was that one verse for the day. I remember Pastor Tommy Barnett, I was talking with him right in the middle of it, and I remember he said something to me that helped me so much. because I was talking to him about it, and he said it in words that were much better than what I can articulate. But I was explaining to him, I feel like I'm barely surviving, and he said, sometimes in life you will go through a storm that's so severe. The way you win is just to hold your ground. And if you can just hold your ground, you're going to win.
Wow.
And then Pastor Jensen, when I went to preach for the first time, and he said, I was trying to just work out, what to preach. And I remember him saying to me, he said, Ben, when you walk up there to preach, you already win. You win by just walking up there. And that helped me. It took pressure off.
Yeah, you win just by walking
Just
up.
showing up.
Just
the
showing
fact
up.
that you're still here
Yep.
means you won.
I think for everyone that's listening to this podcast, it's not hard to sense the Spirit of God healing, moving, restoring. And Pastor Ben, I want to do one more episode with you.
Yeah.
Because I think hope and healing when our heart is hurting is what you could sense in this place. And I know that there's hope for you that are listening. Whether your heart is hurting because you're in the process, your heart is hurting because you're about to come out of your process, wherever you find yourself, know that there is hope and that restoration is real. And if we could trust God together, our best days will be better because God is faithful. Pastor Ben, thank you. And thanks for watching the podcast. Please share it with a friend and get ready for the next episode. Thanks for listening and watching. God bless you.